Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we are super happy to have you here, and we just ask that you bring an open mind and heart to your listening experience and to be prepared to explore vantage points that I'm convinced will help shift or solidify your current understanding of the ultimate nature of reality in a way that is extremely empowering. Speaking of exploring powerful perspectives, I'm super excited to announce that on January 5th, I'm going to be freely gifting each of you my very first book, The Golden Key: Modern Alchemy to Unlock Infinite Abundance. In the book, which was initially shown to me in a dream and has been followed by a next level amount of synchronicity, by the way, I share the keys to manifesting abundance that I've personally discovered over 20 plus years of trial, error, and deep exploration of these perspectives, as well as one golden key that ultimately ties them all together. Also, I would like to invite you to participate in a unique abundance manifestation experiment with me and the other readers that is outlined in detail at the end of the book and at the book's website, goldenkey.gift, where readers will also share the inspiring results of their abundance manifestation experiments. So if you're wanting 2021 to be the year that you alchemize the circumstances in your life so that your abundance expands to an entirely new level, head over to goldenkey.gift to sign up to accept my golden gift right when it comes out on January 5th.
All right, all you positive heads, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today, I have had a beautiful day. It's been a glorious rainy day. I live in the desert in Arizona, and it does not rain here very often. And we've been in a super dry spell, and it rained all night and all day, and it was so beautiful. And it's funny because I'm thinking about all of those who experience rain on a more regular basis, and you might not think it's so beautiful as I do, but I appreciate it so much. In the desert, it offers a extremely different perspective, and it got me thinking a lot about perspective. And I know we talk a lot about perspective on this show, but this time I was thinking about how many people right now are really having a hard time. And I know all of us, I think, are really having a hard time. It's a really intense time. And so I wanted to take some time today and talk about the power of prayer and to actually use this time to set our intentions, to really think about others and all of the things that so many are going through right now. Because one of the things I like to remind myself of is that no matter how difficult my life might be right now, there is somebody on this planet who is suffering more. And that hurts. That hurts me. And I never want anyone to feel bad or even suffer the way that I do when I'm suffering. And so I really want us all to send so much love with the power that we have in our hearts that exists from the being that we are, from the infinite creator that we are, to send love to each and every soul on this earth. Just to send love and that intention of peace to everyone out there who is suffering. A blanket of peace and love. And so today I just wanted us to come together as a group with this powerful intention to send this out to the world. And what's interesting is I talked about Caroline Myss last week. She's one of my favorites. And there was a video just a few days ago that she posted on her Facebook where she did an interview with Lynn McTaggart, another one of my favorite women in this field. She actually wrote a book called The Field, and I first learned about her in the documentary I Am, which is a wonderful documentary. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend checking it out. And it fits a little bit with what we're going to talk about today. I found this clip, and I'm going to share it with you in a little bit, about them talking about the power of prayer, the power of the group. And I love Caroline Myss, how she really is very adamant about our language and how we talk about it, because she schooled me quite a bit here. I always talk about, energy and intention. And she talks about here, let's use the right words. Let's understand that this is really the power of God. This is the grace streaming through us, that is within us, that is streaming out of us to help another. And it's different when we call it energy. We just call it energy. It doesn't have that same power. And so I thought I would share this clip with you about the power of prayer, about getting together to have this focus, to be able to help one another and support one another through this time. And we always talk about self-love and taking care of yourself here on this podcast as well. And I like also talking about the opposite, taking care of each other, helping one another. There's a beautiful balance to be sought here. And it just depends on where you are, which one you need to focus on. It's always good to do both, right? Have a healthy balance of both. And so sometimes we can get so caught up in what's going on in our own world that we forget that there are many others out there who are having a lot harder time. And when we stop focusing on ourselves and start looking out at the bigger whole and understand that, wow, it's so much bigger than we truly understand within our own sphere, right? And so I love this chat that they have, and I hope you do too. Take a listen.
What do you think is it, if you have any kind of sense of where somebody has to get to in order to have that kind of intimate conversation and have that mystical experience by themselves?
Well, first of all, I want to say my book was originally, I wanted to call it The Power of Holy Language. And I love listening to you describe your groups, because it brings to mind that teaching, where two or more are gathered in my name, there is God.
Yep.
And I think we've lost our capacity to see the presence of the divine within our lives, because we've taken the vocabulary out, Lynn. So we've used a much more cerebral vocabulary, and we talk about the neurology and all this, which is fine. But for some old school mystic like me, I look at, with no surprise, when two or more are gathered in any form to assist each other, and they invoke the presence of grace, not energy. I don't use the word energies for ordinary mortals. The word grace is what you're using. Energy has no connection with the sacred. Grace does. So if you're going to use it, use the right vocabulary in the major leagues. You are invoking grace. And grace has the authority to animate within the transformation into healing. And I do rosary circles. And it's the same. I encourage people to say the rosary or say their prayer beads. Just pray at 3:00 every day for all those who need prayers. And what I think your circle of 8 which is so spectacular, and it's a Mobius, 8's Mobius, so that it naturally magnifies grace coming in and going out. And I do really think that when someone uses holy language and recognizes we're gathering in grace, that's it. Stop using scientific language because we feel safer with that. Call it what it is. This is a circle of grace. And we are invoking that grace on behalf of each other. That's power, McTaggart. Own it.
Oh, I do. Don't worry. Don't worry. I do.
And truly,
So
yes.
science helps Western mind that needs proof. And science validates. I started out the intention experiment, remember, from the point of view of a skeptic, saying, okay, we're talking about the law of attraction. We hear all this stuff from the movie The Secret. You know, the journalist in me wanted to say, okay, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about something really minor, like, you know, shifting a quantum particle, or are we talking about, you know, curing cancer with our thoughts? And what happens when lots of people are gathering together at the same time? Does it magnify it? So that's why the intention experiment started. And what it is doing is validating our inner power, the power that we've all had, and you know about more than anybody, but that has been essentially eliminated by our current scientific story, you know, the Newtonian, Darwinian story that we live by. So I started out looking at that. And as I say, the power of 8 just came about by accident. And suddenly it was, wow, yes, these groups are healing. And you will love this. You will love this. I wanted to try to find some antecedents for these kinds of groups. Now, most groups, and there's plenty of prayer groups in indigenous practice, in various religions, but they require, you know, there's minions in Judaism, etc. But it usually requires some sort of leader shaman. However, as you said, I went back and found from a Baptist minister, I think, was talking about some sort of Protestant minister wrote in the early part of the 20th century that there had been a mistranslation in the Bible, in the King James Version. And
Yes.
it in the Acts, it was talking about the Acts where it was about Jesus's instructions to the apostles in how to form the church and how to spread his teaching. And he always said, you must pray. And with the King James Version, it says, with one accord, which is a fairly anemic way of saying what it was in the Hellenic Greek, which was, I think the term was homothumedon, which means passionately and with one voice. It's a musical term. So it's much more like, say, a Beethoven symphony than you know, with one accord. And when I looked through the Acts, it was always, as you say, the two or more are gathered. He was always saying to the apostles, pray together as one, and you will heal and you will be healed. And so that was the antecedent, you know, I could find that was closest to what I was witnessing.
Well,
and I think that's it.
I think we don't have time to go into it in terms of if you want it in terms of science, but you know, I really have found my way into what I'd call healing, mysticism, prayer, the power of prayer, almost to the point where I want to scream at everybody. If you only understood how powerful this is, you would have your prayer discipline, like Teresa of Avila would say, never mind what's going on. We have the great power. We have prayer. Because I was a medical intuitive, because of it, and not my background in theology, but when I started doing readings, I didn't know there were chakras. I didn't know any of this stuff. And as I began to intuit the bio-spiritual organization of the body, the way the delicate relationship between every thought having a creative authority, every emotion, every spark, and our way that we send off psychic free radicals into the universe and how they have creative authority, that in fact, this is the microcosm of ourselves, that we are a bio-spiritual ecological system unto ourselves. That is what we are. We're a micro earth that operates on the laws of nature, just like the macro earth. We are little micro earths. And this, the more I saw why people don't heal, then I pursued, how can people heal? What is the power? Why are we afraid of becoming whole? Why are we afraid of becoming whole beings? Why are we afraid of sensing the emotional, bio-spiritual, energetic content of another human being? Why are we afraid of being able to intuit what another person needs? Why are we so afraid of empowering another person, which is the greatest challenge of all? Because that's the greatest obstacle. We will stay in one world of power because the great transition is how to become a vessel of service instead of taking, how to become a vessel of service. Thy will be done. You tell me what to do with this gift of power you have given me. And that's what that prayer means. It doesn't mean do what you want with me. It means you've given me so much. Every thought creates something. This is so much power. I'm returning it to you. I'm surrendering this to you. Tell me what you want me to do with this, because I can sense this world and it is speaking to me. And you are all of this. This is all you. That's what I'm getting. And this time that we're living in, we are transitioning from that blindness that it's all about us to finally getting what is in one is in the whole, which is a bio-spiritual, ecological, mystical truth so huge that it's transforming every particle in this world. We will never live long enough to see this happen, but we are living. We are at the shores of this transformation.
Absolutely. And I think one of the issues here is essentially reclaiming what we already have. I mean, one of the concerns I have are the constant suggestion that we aren't enough as human beings, that we need AI, that we need human upgrades. In fact, there is a book called The Great Reset, which is essentially about that, the fact that we need something more in order to heal, in order to advance. And as you say, I mean, this is something that cannot be replicated by any machine. We have so much power. We have particularly so much power to heal. I've seen it, as I say, thousands of times. Something I'm going to pick up on something you said that I think is so important, which is this whole thing of being of service. One thing that I have seen over and over again about healing and mysticism is essentially getting off of yourself. When people in these groups, there are people who get healed and there are people who get stuck. And I constantly come up against people who aren't getting anywhere. They're doing their power of 8 things. They're doing intention. They're doing prayer, all sorts of things. And they're not getting anywhere. And oftentimes I will finally say to them, well, get off of yourself. Why don't you intend for someone else and see what happens? And 9 times out of 10, that is the thing that also shifts their life too. So there's there's two points I wanted to really make. One is the extraordinary power that I've seen demonstrated not only in the field, but also demonstrated in the lab. And they are, of course, our ability to affect, the ability of our minds to affect the physical world and each other, that we have enormous power to heal the world, to heal each other. And we also have psychic ability. We have the ability to see beyond our senses. We have all kinds of things like that people cannot, that no sophisticated equipment can possibly replicate. And so it's very important, as you say, in this moment where we've hit we've hit a bifurcation. We can continue to go down the same road that we've always traveled, and it's going to lead to a complete breakdown of everything, and we're about there. Or we can take a hugely different path, and that is going to have to be a mystical and spiritual path. It's going to have to be a completely different path that isn't all about me getting and accumulating, but about something really different.
Before we continue on with today's episode, I'd like to take a quick moment to tell you about our new sponsor, Newcom. As you all know, mindfulness and meditation are key components to being the best version of ourselves. However, I would say sleep is even more important, because if we aren't well rested, our bodies can't repair themselves properly and we can't perform optimally or think as clearly. So when I first heard that the Newcom system has been clinically proven in over 1 million sessions to improve sleep and reduce stress without using drugs or side effects, I was excited to get it for my brother to give it a try, because he has been having issues with his sleep for many years. The Newcom system is great because it uses cutting-edge neuroscience and consists of 3 non-invasive and non-pharmaceutical items, all of which are included in a monthly subscription that costs less than a daily cup of Starbucks, which will probably only keep you up at night anyway. So if you'd like to feel better rested and less stressed, head over to positivenewcom.com, where Positive Head listeners will get 50% off a 30-day subscription of Newcom, which also comes with a money-back guarantee. That's positivenucalm, all one word, .com. Check it out.
Well, it certainly is about something different. It's definitely about getting out of the model that we're so used to, which is what's in it for me, and getting into the model of what's in it for the whole. How does this benefit all of us? And that's what we're moving towards. And that is beautiful. This transition is difficult, and there is a lot of breaking down that is happening. And it's important for us to be able to let go of our old ways to allow the new ways in. And a little prayer goes a long, long way. And the power of prayer in a group goes an even longer way. The power of people, energy, when we come together like this, it is squared. It doesn't double. It doesn't just add up. It is squared one upon the other. When we all send out the same healing, loving intention, that all beings who are suffering, that today they may feel a little bit of peace, that they know that they are blanketed in love and that they are love, and this too shall pass. When we can do that as a group for the world, you can feel that in your heart. I know you can. It's pretty amazing. And I love Caroline Myss at the beginning there, where she gets so real about language, because really language is magical. It's how God created the world. He spoke into creation. It was sound and vibration that created us. And so as we speak, we create. And so the power of our language is humongous. And so when we switch our language from talking about energy being just energy and talk about it as divine grace, the divine grace that it truly is, it changes the entire presence of it. It feels completely different. Energy and grace. The word grace really brings in the divine presence. It's the understanding of the divinity. It's such a beautiful thing. So we can all start using the word grace instead of energy. It's like retraining our brains and our minds to say a different word, because I do it too. I've been very used to using the word energy and bringing like the science in order to maybe have to prove something like Lynn was talking about. And it does help. It does help to provide that seed for those who are skeptical, to say, here, look, this is what happens when we gather here as a group. But when we realize the power that we have within us, and like Caroline said, when we get it, that we're invoking grace, that we understand then that this grace has the authority to animate within us the transformation into healing. And that is very powerful. That's exactly the way it works. Exactly the way it works. It's animating within us the transformation into healing. And what is healing? That's different for all of us, whether it's mental, emotional, spiritual, or physical. There are many paths to healing. There are many ways to heal, but it's grace. It is the power of God within us that does it. And a beautiful thing that Lynn brought up that we were talking about actually on Tuesday, I think Samantha and I, we brought it up in our alien show, is that what she's doing in her experiments, and if you don't know much about her work, she does these intention experiments. And she wanted to see exactly, scientifically, what does happen? What kind of results can we see when we gather as a group and we set this particular intention? And what they have seen over the years is it works. Depending on what the intention is, it always works. And that it does validate that we have this inner power. And a lot of times we need it, like she's saying, because it's been completely eliminated from our schooling, from what we're taught in our science books. And science knows damn well that we work on a quantum level, but we're not taught this in school. And this is one of the ways that our power is taken away from us, by hiding these secrets. This one huge, big secret that is the one thing we need to understand. The power is within us. And just like she talked about with the Bible mistranslations, and Carolyn saying just one, it's been mistranslated in multiple ways. So many ways. Just like she said, praying with one accord, or actually translating it as more like a symphony. That's what we are. We are a symphony. We are the microcosm. That's what we are. We are little micro earths, like Caroline was saying, and we operate on the laws of nature. Together as one, like a symphony, a beautiful symphony. And we can learn more and more to work together to make this symphony sound so beautiful when we work together and heal ourselves, and always have that intention that as we are healing ourselves, we are healing the whole. That's what's so beautiful, because we are one with the whole. So healing ourselves heals the whole. Like Caroline was saying, the greatest transition in our lives is about us becoming a vessel of service instead of being a taker and someone who is always thinking about what is in it for me, but instead of how can I help the whole? How can I be of service to my fellow brothers and sisters? And this is such a beautiful time where we're all starting to understand that we are one. You all get this, but the whole world is getting this now. And we are reclaiming ourselves and our power, like Lynn was talking about. In the past, we've been taught to think that we are not enough. We've been taught to think that we need something else outside of ourselves. There's something else out there that we need in order to heal. But we are learning, and we know that this power is within us. And oftentimes it takes us to just get out of ourselves, get out of our own way, get off ourselves and look at the whole. Start intending for somebody else. And that can make a huge, huge shift in our life and everyone else's. We have the power, the ability in our minds to affect the physical world, to affect everything around us. We have the power to create it. Every thought sends out, like Caroline was saying, little thought forms, little psychic free radicals that are out there creating. And we get to decide. This is our power. We get to use it in the way that we choose. And we can choose to use it with so much love and sending it to all, especially those who need it the most. And so today I really wanted us to remember the power of the group. Remember how powerful we all are, and that all of us together listening now, think about how many thousands of you are listening right now. Right now, we can send this amazing amount of loving grace out to all those who need it the most. And the power of this group has the ability to affect the whole and ourselves. We are powerful beings. And I wanted to remind us of that today. Animate that grace within you and take your power back. It's yours. I love you all so much. I'm going to leave you with a song for today. This is Trevor Hall, Unity. Till next time, love you all.
Also, before we cue up today's song, I wanted to remind you about the game with the universe on our website, where you can choose the first number that comes to your mind and it'll pull up that episode number of the podcast. I've been saying this is a great way to co-create synchronicity and magic with your higher self for quite some time. And if you go to positivehead.com/universe, there is a super fun and simple interface to play this game with your higher self. I firmly believe just by setting the intention to play in this way, it opens up the door for magic, and it's a synchronistic way to hone in on nuggets of wisdom out of the huge catalog of episodes that are specifically appropriate for you at this time in your journey to becoming the next greatest and greatest version of yourself. And it also makes for a super fun way to spark the curiosity of friends and family by having them choose a number, so they'll hopefully go and check out their number as well, which I greatly appreciate because it helps us to spread the word about the podcast. Once again, the address is positivehead.com/universe. And as a quick reminder, if you're curious to learn more about Purium superfoods and why I take them almost every day, be sure to also check out positivehead.com/transformation. On this journey of becoming the next greatest and grandest version of ourselves that we have all embarked upon, I cannot stress the importance of managing your physical vibration enough. And quite honestly, Purium has put together the simplest plan I've found to do so. I have my favorite, the appleberry shake, at least 5 times a week. Once again, to learn more about the Purium transformation, go to positivehead.com/transformation. Or if you want to keep it simple and just try out my favorite, the appleberry shake, you can go straight over to ishoppurium.com and be sure to use code positivehead for 25% off. I'll spell that for you. It's ISHOP PURIUM.com, and be sure to use your Positive Head 25% coupon code.
To my sender, whatever path you follow, push on to tomorrow. Love bounce around and create no sorrow. So many rivers, but they all reach the sea. They're telling me it's different, well I just don't believe it. Love is the goal, and everyone shall reach it. Whoever seeks it, seen it unseen. I don't wanna reason anymore about the one I love, the one I love. I don't wanna reason anymore about that sacred place. No more you and me, no more they and we, just unity. Hey. Unity. Well, I don't wanna count the leaves on the mango tree. I just wanna taste its sweetness. You can't defeat this above beneath this. Yeah, palm one and all, come stand tall. So meditation, if you got nothing long and you shall reach the station. It's the final road, the supreme abode. In this city, all the hard side I go. Don't wanna reason anymore about the one I love, the one I love. I don't wanna reason anymore about God above, God above. I just wanna melt to it and all this grace, drift to it into that sacred place. No more you and me, no more they and we, just unity, yeah. Just a unity, yeah. Well, Jesus, Buddha, Moses, and Gautanga all dance around the dancing on your thunder. Drunk on the wine of love for thee. Tell me when will we be blessed to join the blissful company? Blissful company goes from sea to sea, from the depths of the valley to the mountain peaks. Yeah, so many stories and so many fables. How the king sings about the wild whales in Jerusalem to the holy Himalayas, from Mount Zion into the hills of Jamaica. All land is holy, all land is sacred. All shall leave this world completely naked, completely naked, completely. into that sacred place. No more you and me, no more they and we. I don't wanna reason anymore about the one I love, or one I love. I don't wanna reason anymore about time above, God above. I just wanna melt away in hourless grace, drift away into that sacred place. No more you and me, no more they and we, just unity. I'm a mirror. No more you and me, no more they and we, just unity. I'm a mirror. No more you and me, no more they and we. Oh yeah. together. Pluck me from the crowd and return me to my sender. Whatever path you follow, push on till tomorrow. Love all, serve all, and create no sorrow. So many rivers, but they all reach the sea. They're telling me it's different, well I just don't believe it. Love is the goal, and everyone shall reach it. Whoever seeks it, seen and unseen. Thank you.